Welcome to the RAAAAANTCAAAST podcast. We are raging all the time. We won't stop till you've heard us this time. With the StrangeBus and Kurgan. Watch out, it's StrangeBus, giving you the news, telling you those companies about to screw you. Oh, hey, it's Kurgan, giving you a quest, telling you to pick up Hasbro's mess. Welcome to the RAAAAANTCAAAST podcast. We are raging all the time. We won't stop till you've heard us this time. With the StrangeBus and Kurgan. HeroQuest, all the pop culture. Watch out for Star Wars man and his vultures. Chaos warriors, we got it all. We never ever ever gonna drop the ball.
RAAAAAAANTCAAAAST. Welcome to the RAAAAAAAST podcast. I'm your host Kurgan, and I am actually, I'm not on the road, but our co-host, the StrangeBus, is on the road. Let me bring him on here. Welcome.
Hi. Dude, I was sitting in silence for like 5 minutes driving, and I'm in the dark, and I just hear
Perfect. Well, I
jumped
realized
out of my skin.
I gotta play the entire theme song, created by Sunno.com, with the assistance of AI. Well, I said it backwards. Created by you with the assistance of AI from Sunno.com. It's great stuff. All right, so this is episode 82.
I don't know if you can see my face.
Road trip.
Right here.
All right. Eyes up here. Okay, let me get you on camera as much as I can. Let's see.
Oh, bullshit.
Yep.
You didn't even see me. You can't see me because I'm John Cena. Oh, stream's claimed.
All
You're
right.
done.
Yep. Peacemaker's coming
Just
forward.
as a disclaimer for anybody who's listening to this on Spotify or watching this live, I cannot see chat.
Yep, he's going the speed limit, folks. It was like a dash cam, so for insurance purposes, yeah, do not attempt. All right. Yeah. All right, so so we are live on the Rantcast podcast, twitch.tv/TheRantCastPodcast. We got StrangeBus, we got Kurgan, episode 82. We got a whole bunch of topics. We're starting actually a few minutes early, believe it or not. Usually we start late because we get every technical issue in the book, but now we're just flying down the highway, talking some rants. So let's start out, as we often do, with the How Are We Doing segment. So I'm doing fine. How are you? What have you been
Well,
up
I'm great. I'm just great. Oh, I'm so great.
He's great.
Let me tell you how I'm doing.
You're busy.
See, Sonny Chun. I'm going to be traveling today and tomorrow.
Well,
We're going across the land. Going to wake up at 4 in the morning. Travel. I can't do that. I keep doing it. My voice is all fucked up.
yeah.
I'm going to travel tomorrow back to where I came from. And then I'm going to go to Minnesota the next day. Hopefully I don't have to be in Minnesota early in the morning. It's like a 4-hour drive.
Well, they always say don't drive angry, so Is this gonna work? Are we gonna be able
Nah.
to rant while you're driving?
I mean, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Still going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be fine.
All right.
Yeah, I've only got about. I'm supposed to be there home about 9:27. I'm not gonna like take my whole route home because all people knowing where I live.
Yeah.
But like,
Just do what
people
we
know
do.
I'm in Iowa,
Just
so
stop at
I'm in
your
Iowa.
local Target or something.
But I'll probably be putting this down once I enter or pass Des Moines. So that's pretty much it. I just don't want people knowing where I live. I don't care that people know that I'm in Iowa. I still got a relatively long drive. So I'll probably cut this out about. I'll probably stop because I still gotta call my wife and do stuff. I'll probably drop out temporarily about 9:30.
Yeah.
And then I'll join you guys later if I can. But yeah, I wanted to get my topics out first. But yes, to answer your question, I'm doing great. I'm just gonna be really busy, which will be fine.
Yeah.
Because then that's work for me to do. That's overtime, and I get paid, and that means that's money for me just to put in my pocket, or stuff I get to buy the kids, and that's good for me. I hope everybody out there is doing great. Hope you take good care of yourselves and each other.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, I'm keeping busy as well, but not nearly as busy as you are. Don't have any long road trips for a while, thankfully.
why not? They're fun.
Yeah, they are fun, but I'm just not one of those long haul guys. I mean, if you know it's coming, you can pace yourself, you can do it well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I do like the
It's
weather.
big.
I do like the weather. It's been pretty nice. I hate to be stuck in an office when I could be outside enjoying the sunshine and everything. But yeah, I try to experience it if I can. But yeah, so here we are, Rantcast Podcast, episode 82, on the road,
Right.
and we've got topics galore. We've probably got so many topics that we couldn't cover them all in one stream. But I want to thank our co-host. He came up with a lot of these. Is there one on our list that you'd really like to hit up first?
Well, I'll probably cover one topic before I get off because we're gonna be talking about it for a little bit. So we'll probably start with Twitch. I don't know if anybody can see me. Let me try to flip this around a little bit. That way it's like pure darkness.
Yep. Just
pure
don't get,
unadulterated darkness. Right?
don't get pulled over and arrested because we'll get the cops. Like
Yeah.
that would be some great content.
No, I'll just hang up real quick.
Yeah.
You'll just hear woo, and then I'll be out. No, you probably just gonna see darkness for a minute because I'm gonna talk and drive. Or you're gonna see this light because I put you in the dash. Can everybody still hear me? Okay.
If you're being chased by
you,
UFO, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of talk about Twitch. Twitch has been kind of like really killing it lately. As far as the, I don't really praise Twitch a lot, but they've been like really killing it lately as far as kind of how they've been handling things. Recently, if you've been paying attention, kind of to the articles or to any YouTuber out there, Twitch did some cleaning lately to their bots. And if you've like paid attention to our streams, or if you watch me stream the last couple of years, you'll notice that we'll get like random botters, and they're still there, by the way, just not as many. But they cleaned thousands of them, and this was something that should have been done a long time ago. Twitch knows how to do this; they just haven't been doing.
Yeah. Yep. There's an article. I'm just gonna throw it on there.
But I was reading this morning too, and I watched a YouTuber talk about it. And I'll kind of reference him. But if you ever watched Moist Critical or Penguin Zero, he talked about it this morning.
Yeah, so Moist Critical talked about it.
I'll probably get a little robotic. My perception went down.
I also
But-
am for those who are listening to us on Spotify. I'm sharing an article from Dextero or Dexerto.com on Twitch. So Twitch viewership takes a massive hit after cracking down on view bots. So yeah, there's all kinds of articles. I mean, you get your usual articles out there claiming, yeah, Twitch is going down the tubes, but I mean, I think they did a good thing. Gosh, this hits
So,
home
to
for
sum
me
it up-
because you and I, like, I think both of us had this experience. Like when we first started on Twitch, each of us on our own things, we very quickly like got basically raided by like all kinds of like fake users, and they jack your
Yes.
view count up, and it's like, oh, you're in the affiliate program, and it's like I just started. And it's like it's a scam because
So-
if you don't ban all those people, it's like, oh, you cheated and now you're off the. But I guess other people have been getting away with it. Well, go ahead.
because I'm kind of getting there.
You're getting
but
there. I'll let.
To sum it up, they cleaned it up. After they did their bot cleaning, a lot of Twitch, including major content creators, a lot of their view counts dropped substantially.
24%
The entire
reduction.
Twitch viewership,
Yeah.
yes, the entire Twitch viewership count dropped about 24%. So, and to the point to where a lot of content creators, some that are very unnamed, who are rising right now, stopped streaming on these days because a major amount of their audience does not exist. So it brings the question, and this is why I brought this up, and this is what I would like to talk about here, is, and this was brought up before, viewbotting, at least in this sense, the question gets asked like, well, are people viewbotting on purpose? Are they getting attacked like we did? Are they getting purposely viewbotted by fans to be like, oh, this is a good channel, we want to get them some popularity? Because there are people out there that put in the grind, they put in the hard work, they put in the effort, and they reach that point where the algorithm on Twitch will pick you up and eventually you'll get showcased. It takes a long time, a long fucking time, if at all.
Yep. Not everyone is.
Then there are people
Mhm.
pay $100+ and get a couple billion bots thrown into their chat, and the Twitch algorithm will pick you up because your view count is high. And depending on what there's other things in there, but those people know how to work the system, and you are instantly skipping that work. Or you're somebody who has climbed the ladder a little bit and you get bots mixed in with your audience, but you are still skipping part of that work. And that's what they're talking about, is the fact that it's not just climbing to affiliate, it's people who, because like us, we don't ever get hit on the front page of Twitch, even on like the category pages. Like I've hit the category pages like once or twice back when I was streaming KOTOR, and that's because it was Star Wars and it was 3 a.m.
There you go.
So, big thing was,
I think I hit
how many
HeroQuest once or
people-
twice, but that's just because there's hardly
Yeah,
anybody
so
doing it. Yeah.
how many people are skipping the queue and using view bots? Lots of people, I guess. But
Apparently, yeah.
the big question was what can be done about it? And I hope, and a lot of people are like, well, I hope Twitch doesn't stop, because they're worried about their investors or sponsors, because sponsors can't look at Twitch's back end and go, oh, well, you have a fuck ton of bots, we're not sponsoring you.
Same
They're
thing
just
that
going to say,
happened
we're going to stop sponsoring you. Your view count just dropped.
Same thing that happened to Twitter.
So,
It's like, yeah, all of a sudden
yes.
you have a ton of people gone, and it's like, oh, maybe this wasn't as awesome as we thought it was. Yeah.
So instead of actually putting in that work or trying anything, what am I getting flashed at? Oh, okay. Just getting over it. Anyway,
Get pulled over, folks, live on.
the big
Oh,
thing.
just kidding.
No.
No.
Truckers like to communicate with their lights, and like I got blinked at and not flashed. I got like blinked at. And I don't know if it's because he was like thanking the guy behind him or something, but that really throws me off, because it's like, do I have my headlights on? Yes. It feels like they're like trying to signal me like, hey, your headlights are off.
Yeah.
But like, nope, they're not off. I got like a thank you. It's either thank you or fuck you, depending on like what you're doing.
It's like, I think he wants
So-
to race.
Anyway,
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, I got. Oh, where was I at? Oh, okay. So I hope they don't stop because I hope they still can combat bots because bots are fucking poison
yep.
at this point. And I
Agreed.
hate streaming on my own and getting those. Oh, get these bots to increase your viewers by something percent on every one of my fucking videos. It pisses me off because I have to ban them.
Yep.
Or go to this site for a better audience. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Number two, in order for this to increase, hold on. In order for this to increase, I feel like Kick needs to follow suit, and Kick will not follow suit. Because right now, Kick's under controversy for murder stream.
I heard about that. What the hell, man?
So, yeah, multiple murder streams where people have died on their streams. There's a guy who got wrestled, and some dude, like the son of Raja Jackson, I guess, the son of Rampage Jackson,
I just heard about that.
attempted like to kill a dude, like
Even
literally
awful.
just over the fact that this guy misunderstood
Yeah.
that Raja was a worker or something, and like tried to just run a game on him, like
Yeah. He
I
tried
like
to do
pissed
like
him off.
a fake
He
punch. to him.
apologized.
Yeah.
Yeah, he apologized to him multiple times. Was like, look, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. We're all working here. I misunderstood. He's like, oh, no, man, it's fine. It's fine. And then, like, was literally just waiting for the opportune time to strike like a fucking coward. While the dude was in a match, climbed into the ring and fucking Randy Orton the bastard. Like picked
for
him
real.
up, slammed him down, and like punched him, knocked him out, and then continued to punch him 27 times in the face on a kick stream while the dude was unconscious. Put him in the hospital. The dude flatlined in the ring.
Dang.
Like
That's nuts.
literally flatlined. This guy is a war veteran with PTSD that he like fucking flatlined. All for the fact that he got pissed off because he felt like he wasn't getting taken seriously.
Yep.
Like, I hope the guy gets put under attempted murder charges because that's what that is.
Yep.
Like, literally almost killed the guy.
Well, and supposedly people on it,
So,
he was live streaming it, so like people were egging him on, like telling him he should do this. It's like, well,
so have a fucking brain.
Yeah.
You ignorant, you, like,
someone on the
fucking
internet
asshole.
told you to
Like-
commit a crime. Would you do it?
If people tell me to like shoot people, you think I'm gonna do that? No.
Oh,
Like, have a fucking brain.
yeah.
Like,
It's ridiculous.
like I know that like it feels like I'm pushing far there, but like that it literally pisses me off when we go as far as clout that we can't think about people's lives here. And like I understand you want to fight somebody, come at him like a man and not like a fucking coward.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't think you could take the guy head on, so you attacked him from behind, and then he goes and talks shit about. I don't want to be taken seriously. I'm tired of everybody calling me a bitch. Well, you're acting like a bitch right now. You were strong enough to pick up the asshole and slam him on the ground. You should be man enough to come at him like a man and tell him that you want to fight out in the parking lot. Hey, asshole, let's go duke this out in the parking lot. I don't think I can forgive you. I'm pretty sure the guy would be well within his right to face up to you square like a man. And it's really stupid because you're the son of an actual famous wrestler and you acted like a punk bitch. And that's how that goes.
Yeah.
So there's my first rant of the night. But anyway, going back to Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Kick is on its own thing. I used to actually like not endorse, but like I used to recommend Kick because they did it better than Twitch.
Yeah.
I do not recommend
alternative.
Kick.
Yeah.
I'm actively trying to remove my account from Kick because they do not do anything good, and they promote gambling, like high-end gambling, and like pretty much murder and sex. So do not take any of your stuff. Like I still recommend Twitch over any of that because even though Twitch sometimes
Bad as
crosses
they
the
are.
line.
Yeah.
Kick follows none of their guidelines at all.
Wow.
At all. There's a guy who literally has had sex with multiple prostitutes on stream and has not got banned at all.
Wow.
Like, at all. Like, straight up. Like, Twitch has had, like, one person who's gotten a 7-day ban on it. Kick has, like, tested that. They're like, hold my beer.
Wow.
So,
Amazing.
like,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
Because I feel like
And that's where we're at on that subject. I think you
every-
can kind of see me now.
yeah,
That's-
much better. Well, I was gonna just say I was about to push back and say, well, actually, every streaming platform has had this. Like, people have been killed on like Facebook videos, on YouTube. People have live streamed, you know. All
Yeah,
kinds
but
of,
not.
but they've always cracked down on it. It's never been just a case of, oh,
Yeah.
well, we just got to let that happen, you know.
For what's his face, that real life streamer guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he was like one of the original ones. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but like he got banned because somebody got like in a fight on his stream, like they got mugged while he was walking around, or like something like that. Like there was like people who have walked around and actually witnessed crime on Twitch, and Twitch just bans you. They're done.
Yep.
Like.
And there's been controversy, like you
murder.
say, for people who had sex on camera or whatever, and they just got a slap on the wrist because they were popular. But at least they did something. They didn't just let it happen. Like whatever.
Yeah,
which encourages it.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't. I don't care how any way you spin that, because I guess his dad came out and tried to make a statement on the misunderstanding and just stated the same thing, that his son's an insane psychopath.
The Jackson guy. Well, so
and
what?
Just rehash the situation. Like,
So
your son's a fucking lunatic.
Is he on drugs? Is it brain damage from
No,
fighting?
he's just stupid.
Just an idiot.
He's just a criminal and needs to be locked up because the fucker can't keep his fists like under control.
Well,
and that's exactly what they are. Your fists are weapons.
Well, when you think about it too, it's like, okay, so you beat up a wrestler. That's like saying like, oh man, Clint Eastwood, he's not a cool like cowboy with a gun, and you just go and like shoot the actor. It's like, what the hell? Like, what did you prove? You're a nutcase. You're a murderer.
Nothing. You prove nothing. You prove that you're going to jail and nobody's going to hear your story. And that's exactly it. Is the guys not important as anybody else. We all live simple, mundane lives. And I'm sorry that your life revolves around the ring and you have high-end testosterone and you can't keep your dick in your pants. So you know what? Now because you acted on it, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
And that, like, I hope he does, because like eventually, like, that's going to end up in a whole new spinoff. There's probably people that are pissed off that he put a guy in the hospital. Psycho Steve, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I saw
but like,
I didn't want to watch the whole thing, but I did see clips of it. It was just like,
no, it's brutal. I don't recommend anybody look that up because it is brutal. It's nasty. It's brutal. Like,
and
even the video that I watched from Critical was like blurred. And like that was enough for me to like not want to watch the rest of it. I watched the rest of his video, but I like did not pay attention to the video. It was nonsensical. It didn't make any lick of sense. And like I said, it was uncalled for. Well, absolutely fucking uncalled for.
And the other thing I was noticing, because I've seen videos before where everybody has seen these, like WWF, WCW, WWE. There's all cases where like some drunk fan like jumps into the ring like during a show, and they usually just like beat the crap out of the guy, or shove him to the ground like as quickly as possible, get security on him, get him out of there. In this case, nobody did anything because I guess the guy thought, oh, everything's cool, he's just coming in, he's just gonna make a joke or something, like he's not a real threat. So the guy didn't even try to defend himself, and he was already like knocked out. Just getting like punched in the face. It's like, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's really so tough, it's like, okay, you have a sanctioned fight and you beat the guy fair and square, not you just ambush him after you've made.
Well, it was part of the bit. I guess the guy was talking in the ring to him, or outside the ring, and that's what I was saying here. He was talking to the ring about him, about like having beef, like having pretend beef with him. And he goes, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to punch him, and somebody's going to pull me off of him. And, like, nobody pulled him off.
And he was hitting him
And
for real.
but that's the thing is it was actually not pulling punches, but just fucking making contact. And nobody realized it because when you're in the ring, most of the time, you don't realize it until there's like blood and shit all over the place. And that's what happened, was the dude was punching him and then started making a mess, and people were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So...
If anybody's ever seen professional wrestling, like a house show or something up close, I mean, everything is exaggerated because, it's not like the movies. Like somebody gets punched and you hear a really loud noise and they snap back. It's like, no, most of the time it's just like, oh yeah, okay, and that guy's like really like concussed now. So yeah, in pro wrestling everything is exaggerated. But yeah, if you're an MMA fighter, you're not trained in like the theatrical like fighting style that looks like it's real, but it's not. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those wrestlers were in theater mode, and then this guy is like trying to hurt somebody, like actually hurt somebody.
But to finalize, because I am getting close to home here soon.
Yeah.
I hope that that Twitch leads the way in this, because at the end of the day, there's bots everywhere. YouTube needs to take a hint from this. Kick needs to take a hint from this, because botting has been a good way to cheat your way to the top, and we haven't realized how much of a problem it is until now. And I really don't want money to kind of ruin it, because it is a thing that's going to affect the profit margin for everybody.
Yep.
But unfortunately, when you do something wrong and you fuck up, you shouldn't be paid for fucking up. No. And that includes Twitch. Like, Twitch is going to take a hit off this, and they should blame the content creators cheat. And I don't think there should be a punishment now. Twitch should have to eat this, but at the end of the day, there should be a no tolerance policy on botting, which means if your fans bot you, ban them. If something happens and you get a bot assault, you need to report it immediately. You need to copy the filing of the report. You need to do stuff like that. If you choose to bot of your own accord, your account is banned, no question, and there's a fine involved. And that, there needs to be a hefty fine involved, because Twitch is going to take a profit hit on that, because it's going to their statistics. So as a business, Twitch needs to fine the streamer. It doesn't matter how fucking popular they are. You're not Hollywood. This is the big leagues. I don't care what people consider streaming is. At the end of the day, you're a motherfucker behind a camera sitting at home, and that's what it boils down to.
Well,
so
and if they paid you,
take a hefty fine.
If they paid you, so I've heard about. There's been scandals going all the way back to when they first started putting ads online. People would make people weren't clicking on ads fast enough, so people would make a single pixel, and you go to a totally different site, and they're still clicking on that pixel as if you're clicking on the ad, and you're really not. And so somebody's getting paid, and it's just a complete scam. And so yeah, it's okay, well, what did we pay you for? What was the point? It's fraud. So yeah, it sounds harsh.
Well, the whole point.
That's what it is.
The whole point here. It even states in the terms and conditions, if you are with their bots, if their back end catches your bots and you're using ads, it could limit your source of income. Yeah. But they don't do it because that takes work. And this is another big thing that, once again, YouTube does, is they rely on an algorithm and they rely on robotics to handle, or automation to handle, their moderation of the site, because they don't want to employ a bunch of people to do it. And it's annoying as shit, because it doesn't enable a fair practice.
Yeah.
So it allows these people to do whatever the fuck they want.
Well,
and at that point, why not everybody? Who
people justify
at this point,
yeah, they'll say,
why
well,
ever
everybody else is cheating, so to compete, well, might as well cheat. That's the mentality.
Why content create at that point is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Why content create? Just buy bots, put it on the platform, reap money from Twitch.
Yep.
Because it doesn't do anything but positivity at that point. If you're going to condone cheating, reap a viewership from Twitch, have them reap the stats from you, and just get rewards.
Yep. Well, even just
And people
something
are still gonna watch you.
even something as simple as buying a gift sub. I was thinking about this early on when I first got on there, and it's like, oh, you can just buy subs for people. So if I just had like a ton of money and didn't care to just blow it, I could just like buy like thousands of subs for people. And it's like, oh, I made myself popular. But then it'd be like, okay, hollow victory. First of all, I just blew my own money. I'm not really popular. I'm just pretending to be. And like, who am I fooling? And those people will just, I mean, most of them probably won't even care. Like, they're not going to stick around once you stop paying them to care. So yeah, it's like, to me it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, there's just, I guess, yeah, you could get money from other sources, so people pretend that they're big shots, and as the company it makes them look good to have like these really popular streamers. But yeah, once the lie is exposed, so yeah, I think they made the right call in this case. That definitely, I agree with you.
Well,
They should get rid of the bot.
like I said, I'm not going to toot their horn too hard, but at the end of the day, I hope they continue with this and don't just do a little bit because it makes them look good, and then they don't do the whole thing because it'll fuck with their cash flow and their statistics. Because if they did the whole thing, then it might ruin Twitch. We don't want that. We want,
Oh, it's a nice, yeah.
we want show ethics.
I like this show. I like what we do, and I enjoy the HeroQuest fans stuff that I do. And so far, I haven't found another platform that does it well enough to do what we do. So yeah, I'd be sad if it went away, especially if it was something really really stupid like this. So yeah, it was the right
Yeah.
call. We'll see how it pans out.
But that's what I've got on that. I'm officially pretty much home almost.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you go real quick. I'm going to get changed, check on my kids, my wife, and then I'll rejoin you for a little bit. If you'd like to do the power hour while I'm doing this, that'd be great.
Yeah, man.
And then I'll rejoin you guys. But I thank everybody for their patience with me. Like I said, I just got a job. I got work. So I'll rejoin you guys, and I'll be right back shortly.
All right. Thanks, StrangeBus. All right.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, well, we're switching over into the power hour here. And as often happens, we get these lulls in the HeroQuest, not lulls, but a lull in the action for HeroQuest. So the thing that we're doing now is we are calling our friendly local game shops, asking them, "Hey, are you participating in the Avalon Hill game nights?" They're like, "What the heck is that?" Okay, did you know that all these Wizard Play Network stores are participating in the Avalon Hill game nights? And they'll send you a demo kit, and maybe I'll volunteer to like come to your store and like run a HeroQuest game, and you're gonna give away swag that they're gonna send you, and wouldn't it be cool? So there's a website online. It's the WPN locator, and you can actually find Wizards stores. Actually, you know what? Why don't I just throw it on the screen here, because that would make a lot of sense. I'm not exactly sure when it's supposed to be happening. There's supposed to be updates, but I think I want to say November, October, November. So we're getting close. I mean, we're at the end of August. So the Wizards Play Network website has a store locator, and they did this last year, but apparently the issue was only premier locations were doing it. This is the website. So it's locator.wizards.com. So not every friendly local game shop, not every hobby, comic shop on the block is part of this network, but a lot of them are, especially in the big cities across the United States. Any store basically that heavily advertises or features Dungeons and Dragons, which is Wizards of the Coast, of course, which is Hasbro, or Magic the Gathering, which is also under Hasbro, those stores are part of it. So here, right there, you got Magic, you got D&D, you got Premier Events, stores. So you can type in your stuff. You can find their phone numbers. You can give them a call. So let's just try something random here. Let's try Portland, Oregon. Okay, so if let's say we were in Portland, Oregon, which we're not, but let's say we were, for the sake of argument, we've got these stores here. So we got Max Boarding House, we've got Open Play Commander, So let's just see. View all events. And this is not a sponsored thing. Like, why would I do this? Why would I go out of my way to like promote something like this? Well, I want the free swag. I want HeroQuest to be known by more people because I want more people to play, which allows me to play more, which just builds the community, and it's great. We could do that without their help, but it would be kind of cool. Plus, a lot of that stuff was given away at conventions, and people are paying absurd prices for it online. Scalpers are selling, the GM screens that were given away at Gen Con, the flyer with the Bard on it, the Quest printout. I mean, just you shouldn't pay $50 for something like that. Dice from last year, people are selling it, for hundreds of dollars. It's just ridiculous. That stuff was free. But just imagine if you could just go to your local game shop, somebody runs a game of HeroQuest, and you walk away with some dice, or you walk away with, some cool cardboard thing that you could add to your game at home. It's like, that's a great idea. So some of these stores, they have no idea what's going on. They have to opt in. I think most of them do have to opt in. And so you want to give them a call, be real nice, be civil, be enthusiastic, encourage them to, forward the message to their manager or talk to the manager, encourage them to participate in the Avalon Hill game nights for HeroQuest. And my local store, for example, they said, yeah, we're always looking for volunteers. It's like, okay, well, I'll show up. If I can make it with my work schedule, I'll show up, I'll run a game. So some of the people in our community, Inspector Retro, he did this. He ran 2 HeroQuest games. I think one, nobody showed up. The other one, he had a big group. Sik Hashem has done it. He's run a game before. And it's like, great. It's cool. You get to play a fun game, and the store is sponsoring you, basically. They're basically giving you whatever. A lot of these stores, they don't charge any money to like use their game space. Like, you just want to bring a board game from home and just play, as long as there's a spot open, right? Some of them are a little more strict. There's like, oh, you can only play games that they actively sell, or maybe you pay $5 and you get the space for 4 hours or something. You're renting the space. Some stores are like that, but a lot of the stores that in my area, I mean, I live in a larger city for my state. I mean, they're pretty much just like, yeah, do whatever you want, as long as you're not like disruptive to everybody else. I mean, you're having a good time. That sort of increases the buzz at the store, makes it look active, draws people in. Of course, a lot of the stores, the game space is kind of off to the side. So it's like customers who are coming in just to buy stuff are not bothered by, people like yelling and hollering when they're rolling dice or whatever. On the other hand, you might walk by and be like, oh, here's some people playing a game. This looks cool. Maybe I should get involved. Maybe I should buy this or whatever. So kind of like, like Gen Con, you go to Gen Con to try new games, to play games. So I think this could be a good thing. So I would encourage people to check it out. And if the store says no, well, just think about it. I mean, this is one customer's opinion. If enough people keep asking for them to do something, maybe they'll do it. Maybe there's a give and take, between the customers and the store. So that's the Wizard Play Network thing. So Avalon Hill game nights coming up. Don't have exact dates. Michael, who is he has the job that Patrick O'Rourke used to have, Intergalactic Patrick. So Patrick's been promoted. So the new guy, Michael, on the Avalon Hill Discord, he's been encouraging people. He's saying, look, it's not the same as last year. Last year, they had just started this pilot program for the Wizard Play Network, Avalon Hill Game Nights. It was only almost only these premium locations. So certain big cities, especially on the coast, were doing it. But this year, it should be open to pretty much anybody who wants to opt in. So if the store wants to do it, Hasbro sends them a kit, or I guess a couple of kits, and they just get whoever they can to run the games, and they get to keep it. I mean, I know my local game shop sells HeroQuest because I've checked. Every time I go in there, I check. Like, do they have it? Have they changed the price? No, they always sell it at MSRP, but they've got the game system, Keller's Keep, Return of the Witch Lord, Spear Queen's Torment, Prophecy of Telor, Frozen Horror, Mage of the Mirror, Rise of the Dread Moon, Jungles of Delthrak. I haven't seen First Light, but First Light is still technically a Target exclusive, but we're expecting it to end very soon. That's what they said at Gen Con. Very soon. It's coming to an end very soon. So that means not that it's going to go away, but that other stores are going to start carrying it, which is a good thing. The only things that I don't think I ever saw at these friendly local game shops are the smaller boxes, like the hero collections. But I've seen other people posted pictures. It's like, oh yeah, they were selling the monk or they were selling the rogue. Now the rogue has been out of stock for a while, and I think they need to bring him back. The question is, how do we get them to bring the rogue back? And I have been told every time I bring this up, somebody says, well, actually, Doug said that there's still some rogues out there. Yeah, but where? Where can we find them? I'm not talking about somebody selling it for $200 on, eBay or something. I'm talking about like a store that sells them. I mean, maybe there is, but see, I worry if there's just a few copies out there, somebody's going to just scalp them. They're going to buy up all the remaining copies and then sell them on eBay or wherever for some ridiculous price. And people are already selling like bootlegs of them. So I don't know if they're from the same factory or if they're like casts of them, but people are selling bootlegs of the Guardian Knights. I've seen bootlegs of the Rogues out there. There's probably bootlegs of the Monks as well. But yeah, I mean, if you can get the real thing for a reasonable price, why would you buy the knockoff? But that's why the knockoffs get sold, because people can't get the real thing. They still want it. It's the next best thing in their mind. Other stuff in the world of HeroQuest. So we have a little bit of a disappointment, I guess, with the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, Joe Manganiello's Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. We brought it to everyone's attention, not me particularly. I mean, I was just piggybacking off the fact that people like Eudoxio were saying it, other people were saying it. Hey, look, Quest 9, they copied the stat block from the boss of Quest 9 into Quest 10. So they inadvertently nerfed the final dragon boss. So the dragon is much easier to kill now because he's using the same stats as the previous character because they accidentally copied and pasted. Which is like, well, why couldn't you just reprint the original like mythic version? Because that one was fine. But who knows? I guess they must have had the elements. They were doing it quickly. Anyway, we told Michael about it. He was aware. He took it down. Everybody's aware of it now. Everybody at Avalon Hill, down to the janitor, knows that there's a problem with that. The ultimate battle is goofed up. And so Joe himself was probably like, oh, why? So we expected them to fix it in the digital version. So they always come out with this PDF file of the quest. So Hasbro Consumer Care has them. It's like game instructions, right? You buy the game used and the instructions aren't there. Or, the dog pees on it, the cat rips it up. You lose it, whatever, but you can just print out another copy of the instructions. Or what if you want to view it on your phone or something? So you can do that. Well, in the PDF, they could have just corrected it, right? They could have just fixed it, but they didn't. It's exactly the same error as the printed version. So it's like, come on, guys. And you go on the app. Of course, they didn't know at first when they updated the app to 6.0, which is still messed up on the Google Play Store, by the way. If you download it for iOS, it's fine. You get version 6.0, which has a Crypt of Perpetual Darkness playable in the HeroQuest companion app. But you get it in the Google Play Store, it's still 5.1. And you have to do this like convoluted way to like get it to update. So you have to download APK Pure, and you have to allow like outside apps to be installed, and then you can like download a version that somebody has basically just downloaded it and uploaded it to like a fan site, essentially, like a backup fan site. You download that, and it's like, assuming you trust them, of course, which I do, but some people wouldn't. Then you can get 6.0. So you got to do all that nonsense. And in the app, it's wrong as well. So it's every public version of Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, unless you're looking at a bootleg scan of the Mythic version from 2021, has a nerfed dragon. And like I said before on the previous stream, I thought originally, well, maybe they did this on purpose. It's like, no, it's an obvious mistake. Oh, Bohemius, yes. He's saying my store said no, even if I volunteered, but maybe they're going to get the promotional kit with the retail first light for game stores. See, that's too bad. And Bohemius, you're a stand-up guy for asking them, and I know that you're a passionate fan. You would have done it, and it's a shame that they turned you down. But I could imagine some stores maybe thinking like, oh, we're not going to make enough money, so it's not worth our time. Like we want every square inch of our store to be devoted to something else. But my thought is it's all coming out of Hasbro anyway. Like, oh, we got to have like every table taken up with Magic the Gathering. It's like it's the same company, but maybe they're going to say, oh yeah, but we're going to sell like 100 decks of Magic cards and make this amount of money versus like a couple of HeroQuest boxes, and it won't be as good. But it appeals to a totally different audience, I think. So yeah, it's a shame. So we gotta stump for our own product, I guess. But yeah, if they get the promotional kit with the retail first light, Rantcast. Joe Kozier with his new 3D printer. I see you. I see you struggling to get that thing working. It looks like you're making progress though. I thought some of those prints that you did with the strings coming out of them kind of looked like cobwebs. It's like, oh, cool. You could have like an old dungeon with like cobwebs over everything. You could paint the strings, but yeah, obviously you want it to be nice and clean, so it's not going to work. It was the nozzle being worn out. So if you replace the nozzle, it's good to go. And so Ribby wore that thing out. Is that what you're trying to say? He did a lot of printing. I never even thought about that. Like you buy a machine, you use it constantly, and the parts start to break down, wear out, and need to be replaced. But it's cool that it went to a good home. I mean, it didn't just go in a landfill, right? Yeah, I'd love to get a 3D printer someday. I'd like to get an FDM one as opposed to resin because I'm just totally disenchanted with resin. I mean, it's more toxic to me, and it's just not as durable. Even though it looks good, I mean, as I've said before, if I'm going to 3D print stuff, it's going to get used. Like I'm going to use it for the table. I don't want stuff that's so brittle it has to just stay on a shelf and break anyway. Like I want to be able to like play it with a game. I want to paint it. I want to use it. That's what it's for. And if I had my own printer, yeah, I'd do it. But I just don't have the space. Like I would need a dedicated space so I can ventilate the stuff and it's not have it like start a fire or whatever, cause a problem while I'm not actively attending it. So yeah. Well, let me just look. There's a couple of other interesting little topics I was looking at. So I've already talked about the Yield In Christmas Exchange. So if we go to their website, check out their forum. So there were some active topics here. Joe says the nozzle is soft brass and eventually wears out from dragging on the printed material. I got some mix for the resin, one I have access to make the minis a little more durable. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you mix the resin with stuff and it makes it stronger. But to me, I mean, I've seen ones that are mixed, different mixtures, and of course I have no idea what they put in it. But it's like it's a little more bendy, but it's still pretty brittle, pretty fragile. There are some resins out there that are good, but the question is, as they get like better, they cost more, and it's like, okay, so are you really? Because it's like a lot of people get a 3D printer because they're like, okay, why am I buying miniatures? I should just be making my own. Like this is cheaper, this is more cost effective. Now it's also true that maybe the price is not such a big deal. It's the things that you're designing. Like you're designing stuff that doesn't exist in a store, right? Or it's so hard to find that you're just recreating it, and it's not a vintage like Warhammer piece of metal from the 90s, but you're making something similar to that for yourself and your own personal use. Like why not? Bohemia says it's the biggest store in the country. They have dozens of tables, but that's not the problem. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong. I mean, if HeroQuest is suddenly like super big, like just blowing up everywhere, then they'll take notice. But it's like we're at that stage where we're kind of like grassroots, like promoting it. Like a lot of people know HeroQuest is back, but I mean, a lot of people still don't get it. Like if you say HeroQuest, they think you mean HeroScape, or they think you mean HeroClix, or something else, right? They think you're talking about the Glorantha game from Chaosium, World of Glorantha RPG, or they just don't quite understand what you're talking about when you say HeroQuest. Like Or they go, oh yeah, I remember that game, or I remember that video that the Bard made. The best thing about HeroQuest is this awesome beard. They don't realize, oh, I can actually walk to a store and like buy it like right now. Or I can buy it on Amazon for like less than like $90. Joe says, I've also had normal plastic minis break from as little as a 2-foot fall. Well, yeah. He says, my torture rack broke off of my desk and the one handle broke off from the remake version. Yeah, I saw that, and that was you. That was sad. I got to remember to ask tomorrow if my store is going to participate. I'm willing to run a game for them. Yeah. I believe nobody plays around here, you. Well, Joe makes a good point. I've had legitimately purchased, official Games Workshop miniatures break. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about the fine cast or whatever that people ever complain about, like regular ones. But it's rare. It's very rare. And usually it's because, I, stressed it out or I cut it in the wrong spot with the, clippers or something. I've broken, I broke one of the skeletons from my classic HeroQuest a long time ago, like in my teenage years. I accidentally stepped on it. Well, of course. Yeah, you put your weight on a piece of plastic like that's going to break. And even then, it broke pretty cleanly. I think it just broke off at the knees. And I had one of these 3D prints that Mercantile sent me. And I accidentally left it on my chair. I sat down and I was like, oh no, I broke it. And it broke off in the same spot. There's like a weakness in those knees. It's like the thinnest part of the miniature, I guess, the joint. But think about it. It's like, okay, so that would break anything. Now, a Reaper Bones miniature or a HeroQuest remake miniature, and when I say miniature, I'm talking about the characters, the character figures. The furniture is like stiffer plastic, so I could see how that would not be as durable. Of course, I mean the bookcase is like a big block. But yeah, with the torture rack, you got little bits that stick out, and if it lands exactly on that bit, it might break. But I mean, I can bend the swords. I mean, the Reaper Bones miniatures are made out of a kind of a bendy, rubbery type of plastic, similar to the HeroQuest. Most of the HeroQuest figures are kind of a rubbery, bendy thing, and those can put up with a lot of abuse. Like you can, I wouldn't recommend it, but I mean, if you stomped on him with like a shoe or something, like okay, so now the guy's bent. His sword is bent backwards, but you dip it in hot water and it just comes back to normal, and it's pretty much as if nothing ever happened. Whereas if you did that with like a piece of styrene from like the 90s, like Games Workshop, it's broken. You bend the sword back, you bend it the other way, you bend it the other way, and then it just snaps right off. But now a piece of resin, yeah, it's a fraction of that is going to destroy it. But if you have a printer, oh, well, I just said print another one. So you just set the machine up, come back a few hours later, and oh, there it is. It says the shelves are always full of HeroQuest, but nobody buys unless they want to scalp the heroes. Well, I've kind of noticed that too. I've noticed that they have HeroQuest, but it kind of sits on the shelf. Like, I think the same copy has been there for a long time. So maybe the store is thinking like, oh, it's not a big deal. But that's the whole point of this promotion. The whole point of the promotion is to get people to notice it's on the shelf, because you've got hundreds and hundreds of games on the shelves. And if they just happen to stop right at this one spot and go, oh, HeroQuest, okay, and then pick it up, turn it over, look at it and go, oh, it contains all these characters. Oh, this is how you play it. Oh, this is a good idea. I should buy this one instead of the game next to it, right? They have to notice that it's there. And the whole point of having the in-store demo is you can go, oh, that game you see over there, that's what this is. This is why it's fun. This is why you should buy it, as opposed to something else. So yeah, if they promote it, they're going to sell those copies. And what does it cost them to do that? Well, if they paid someone, I mean, the employees are already there, right? They're working the cash register, they're sweeping the floors, they're doing whatever they do. They're running the Magic tournament. Okay, maybe they're busy. Volunteer comes in, assuming you're not just like a total troublemaker and you're going to like destroy the place. Chances are you're just a regular player, you're a regular fan, and you're going to get people to buy the product that they already have. So this is going to help them. And if Hasbro is sending them stuff to give away, it's like, okay, people are going to come for that too, right? So if nothing else, they got you there. You might buy something. So I think it's a win-win, unless the space is at such a premium they can't do it. But maybe they just don't believe in trying new things like that. They think, oh, Magic the Gathering's been popular since the 90s. It's never let us down, so we'll just stick with what we know. Too big of a risk. But I just don't see that they're risking very much. Of course, I don't own a store like that. Joe says, once I figure out resin supports, I want to print out better versions of the ogres and elves from their respective expansions, as well as the Wizards of Morcar minis. Yeah, I would too. And I have 3D prints of all that stuff. Of course, I have the originals now too. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to paint the originals, but I'll paint the 3D prints of them. Just like if I had casts of them or knockoff bootlegs of them, I would paint those because I don't mind those, right? Another thing that we were talking about is sort of the philosophy of HeroQuest. I feel I find myself telling these same stories over and over again to people, but you have the Elf Quest pack, the Barbarian Quest pack, the Elf Quest pack with Mage of the Mirror. Barbarian Quest pack was a Frozen Horror. Last big boxes released in 1992, which happened to be among the first expansions they released for the new HeroQuest in the 2020s. And the question was, why was the Frozen Horror such a problem? Why was it so ridiculously difficult? Why was it so broken? Well, I think that it's a very easy thing to figure out. You go back in 2020 or 2019 or whenever they were starting this whole thing. You go on eBay and you type in HeroQuest. What do you find? You find people selling copies of the Frozen Horror for hundreds of dollars. You find people selling copies of Mage of the Mirror for thousands. And even if it's not like a sealed box, like it could be a beat up box, it's opened, it's missing some parts, and it's still going for a ridiculous amount of money. And you think about the original, they probably sold it for like $10 back in 92 because it's just an expansion. But it was because it was so rare and not a lot of people had played it. They just knew they wanted it. Like that was the one that got away. So of course they're going to go, oh, boom, we'll release the Frozen Horror. And then because of the fact that you have an 18-month production cycle or window or whatever, by the time they found out, oh, actually fans have been complaining for years that this quest pack is broken. I mean, the Yeti can hug you and you can't get out of it. It's a solo quest. You're by yourself. They set you up for failure by putting you in these 3 ridiculous quests by yourself as a barbarian. You don't have a chance. And they claim that it's for a beginner hero, and it's a terrible idea because, the little kid is going to join your game and he's going to get destroyed over and over again. And unless he's either a glutton for punishment or just super motivated, he's just going to quit and never play the game. So you might as well just skip those solo quests and go right to the main game. But then if those heroes aren't beefed up, it's like, what were they thinking? Well, Doug Hopkins, his idea is just like with the perfect test case for this is Rise of the Dread Moon. Is the idea is you have 4 brand new characters. Character sheets are basically blank. You just put your name on there and you put down the fact, hey, the barbarian's got a starting weapon, and go. You have that party start in quest 1, and by the end, they'll have like built up like all the gold to buy all the equipment, for the best weapons, the best armor. But it's like they leveled up as they went, right? We suspect, I think somebody just said it, flat out said it one time. I think it might have been Zargon on Yield In, was actually probably they were thinking something very different back then. They were probably thinking that the people who were buying the Frozen Horror and Mage of the Mirror had already played the game system, and they'd kept that same character like after the game system, and then they'd played Keller's Keep and Return of the Witch Lord, and they'd kept the same character, and they probably had thousands of gold coins, and they had the strongest armor, the best weapon, they had a whole bunch of artifacts, and now they're bored because there's no challenge left. So they'll make these quests super hard so that they'll still be challenged. But then the problem is they went back on it and they gave us these solo quests where they led us to believe, oh, this is for a beginner hero. It's like, that's not a good idea. Like with HeroQuest, a lot of people misunderstand this. When a hero, you've got your 4 heroes, right? Most quests are designed for 4 heroes. When one of them dies, it's not like he's just gone. It's not like, oh, the barbarian died, there's no more barbarians in this campaign. It's like, no, the next quest, another barbarian just shows up, right? So it's kind of like you just never lose. But I mean, you still have to win the quest. In theory, if you fail a quest, Zargon's supposed to remix the quest, which he has total discretion over. I mean, he might just change one tiny little thing, or he might rewrite the whole thing completely. That's what the blank map is for. But you replay the quest until you complete it, then you move on to the next one, right? But you always start with 4 heroes. So even if all 4 heroes died, well, you get 4 more heroes, right? So you got another elf, another wizard, another barbarian, another dwarf. And so there'd never be a situation where all of a sudden you're missing a character. Now, the way it's presented in these expansions is, oh, this is to get you up to speed with the other heroes. But what that implies is, okay, so the barbarian died, and what? The other heroes just stole his gear? They could have, or maybe his gear got lost. He died in a room with monsters by himself, so all his potions and everything were lost. But then the next day they play another quest, and it's like, okay, well, I have a new character. Well, you would think those other characters have a surplus of extra stuff they could just give to him. Say, oh yeah, you can have this spare sword that I've got. You could have, here's a little bit of gold, and pool it together. You can buy yourself some armor. You could buy yourself some potions, and you'll be ready to go. Like, you're not going to have a guy with like nothing, and then a whole bunch of like fully armored characters. Of course, then you think, okay, if you've got one character that really has nothing, let the other characters do most of the work, and he'll eventually work his way up with gold and everything. But it's like the other players are so greedy they won't give him anything. But okay, let's say that's the case. So then what the solo quest should be designed to do is get the character up to speed. So instead of having to play 10 quests to get fully upgraded, he'll do it in 3. So they should be giving you a ton of armor, a ton of weapons, or a ton of gold to buy that stuff. But then they make it super challenging. So we think that really the solo quests, probably what they should have just said is, no, this is just like a really hard challenge for a hero that already has a ton of stuff, right? Breaking up, or is it me? Well, it was saying we had an unstable connection earlier when we had StrangeBus on. So let me see. It says we have an excellent connection. No, I think it's just you this time. Sorry. Yeah. Well, Joe, that's kind of what we ended up doing on our stream. I mean, it all started, if you go back to those old streams that we had, we just ran it as a group quest. So we had the Frozen Horror. We started out with just the Barbarian. We had 2 Guardian Knights. So right there, it was way better. I mean, it was still tough, especially when PSK went off by himself. He wanted to do all the fighting. It's like, okay, but you still got 2 heroes working together. And I mean, to be fair, they were covering more of the dungeon. A lot of players like to do that. They split up, cover more ground. But if you split the party, you risk triggering more monsters, and yeah, you can have a trouble. Yep. That knucklehead. Yep. He was trolling me a little bit, and I didn't mind. He's a cool guy. Yeah, it's a great stream, painting stream. I think I saw a glitch a little bit ago. Yeah, so when we went to Mage of the Mirror, though, I was just flat out like, I don't care. Like, you guys can have 4 heroes in Quest 1. It was an easy quest at that point, because it's like, okay, what was nearly impossible for 1 elf is fine. Like, it's fine. And at that point, I was reading the drafts, thanks to Luca Pasci and the Lost Quest project. So I was noticing that not many people realize this, but Catherine L. Connors. I changed her name. Catherine L. Connors, who is the principal author of the quests. So she wrote the quests for Mage of the Mirror, right? This was Mike Gray's team, the North American HeroQuest team. So she wrote the quests, and so Doug shared this with me at Gen Con, I think 2 years ago, was that Stephen Baker, when he was making the quests, Like they were always having to encourage him, no, make it more difficult, make it harder, because you're making it too easy. Like you're too soft on these heroes. You got to make it harder, more difficult. Well, Catherine O'Connor's the opposite way. If you look at her early drafts, like she'll have, in the modern version, maybe you'll have like one giant wolf that'll show up. In her first draft, it's like two. So it's like imagine two giant wolves for each one that you see now. And now you see abominations, of course, but in the original they were Famir. Well, in those early quests, when you see Famir attacking you, most of the time those Famir were originally ogres, and these were the 10 body point ogres. So every one of those is like a boss battle. So her quests were extremely difficult, and I'm not sure if she just didn't realize, oh, this is you're making the game too hard, or if that was like, no, this needs to be a challenge. So, boom, do it. This is what we need. So they toned her stuff way down for the 1992 release, and it still wasn't enough. It was still too hard. Now Avalon Hill, okay, so they've got that 18-month design window. They found out too late. Okay, people wanted Frozen Horror like scaled back. It was too hard because up until this point, what they've been hearing from us is keep everything the same. Don't change anything. Preserve it. We want the classic HeroQuest, intact. Don't go revising everything. But it's like, no, no, no. We were saying game system, that's great. Frozen Horror, not so much. That needs some work. And so they finally got the message. So by the time Mage of the Mirror came out, okay, they nixed the half the body points off the ogres, 5 body points. It still isn't enough though. They gave you the Elven Bracers, which you never found before. They put it in one of the empty treasure chests. Why do you have an empty treasure chest? That's just a problem. So you put something in it that's useful. It helps the elf, but still not enough. So for those expansions, Zargon still needs to do something to make it fun, whether that's using, modifying the solo quests into group quests. I mean, you could give the hero a bunch of mercenaries or animal companions. I mean, they came up with different ways. So with the Frozen Horror, Avalon Hill, Doug Hopkins, they put out the Raiment of the Frozen Champion, which was part of Into the Northlands. So saying, okay, well, here's another quest you can play ahead of time to practice and get a little bit of extra gear. Here's some special artifacts that Zargon could hide somewhere that make the game a lot easier in certain respects. So you've got a device basically that stops you from getting hugged by yetis. You've got a device that lets you kill polar werebears a little easier. You've got a device that protects you from getting gear stolen by ice gremlins. You've got another gear that makes mercenaries a lot cheaper. So all those things are like in universe ways to make it more fun. Like it doesn't have to be so ridiculously tough. Because a lot of people come to HeroQuest and they don't want to think about it. They just want to play it out of the box. This is the easy, instant quest, right? But unfortunately, there is still some work to be done. So there's some homework that the GM has to do in some of these cases because these were not well play tested back in the day. They were under a crunch. HeroQuest was being basically ended. The franchise was being ended. So probably from the point of view of these designers, they wanted to get these things out as quickly as possible. I mean, I'm trying to look at it the best possible light. They wanted to get it out. Better to release it than have it just be lost to history, right? Yeti's got a hug. Well, but a lot of the problems that we see with these expansions, the solutions were there all along. So there was always a plan to have a Yeti hug break. Like you were going to roll dice to like break out of it, and you would still be able to defend while you're in it from other attacks. So, and it didn't do as much damage. But in the release version, it was just like, nope, the Yeti grabs you, and the only thing that can be done is somebody else has to kill the monster. Like, so let's go. Right, that's it. So they quickly implemented, okay, well, maybe just when in solo quest, Yetis just never hug you. Like, it's not an automatic thing unless it's a group quest. Or maybe you can roll dice, and they made it easier to get out of it. In Mage of the Mirror, you were supposed to be able to jump over any square. Like you don't have to search for traps first, jump over any square. And also, you were supposed to be able to double jump, like jump over 2 squares at once, which is harder. It's a harder feat to accomplish, but it can be done. And you'll see there's a trace of that because in the existing quests from Age of the Mirror, there's a lot of places where there's like 2 trap tiles like right next to each other, especially in a doorway. Like, why would they do that? Well, that's because they were expecting you to go, oh man, I'm going through a door. I bet there's a trap. I'm going to jump over the first one. Oh, and then you land on the second one. Gotcha. Or you go, well, there might be 2 traps, so I'm going to try to jump over both of them, and then you get a bad roll and you land on it anyway. Like, dang it. Also, they were planning to have the ability to just search individual pieces of furniture for treasure. So it's like, oh, there's nothing in the chest. Oh, but the tomb has, the sword that you needed or something like that. The problem with that, of course, because I've played it that way at Gen Con 2 years ago, one of the guys ran a game where it was like, yeah, you can search the furniture individually. It makes the quest a lot longer because you're like searching every single thing. And the whole thing is, I mean, normally in the HeroQuest rules, you search the entire room anyway, right? And in the solo quest, so they only give you 1 search per hero per room. So in a solo quest, you're only going to search once anyway. So how can you build up the suspense? Well, you say, okay, you search this piece of furniture, nothing. Search this piece of furniture, nothing. You search this one, oh, that's the thing, oh, phew. Or, this one has a trap, this one has the treasure, this one has nothing. It's just a way to make it interesting. So you can see traces of those features they were working on that were never fully implemented or not implemented properly, or maybe they just goofed up. I mean, if you look at modern HeroQuest, look what they just did with Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. They copied the stats from one character to another, from one quest to the other. So if they're still making those mistakes, even with the digital age, even with AI and all this stuff, think of what they were doing back in the 90s. So I have no problem believing that the Elven Bracers never being found, the Armband of Ice never being found, all that stuff is perfectly understandable as just mistakes. And another thing I was being challenged on is, well, how come the Elven Chainmail doesn't have a card, right? Well, in the draft notes, which again are not publicly available for everyone, hopefully they will be soon, they explain that. So with each box, I mean, I'm sure in a way, it's kind of like that nowadays, is each project has a budget, right? And so that's why Carmine was talking about, well, if you want an extra set of dice in the box, guess what? You're going to have to get rid of a miniature, right? So it's got a little from here to there. The budget of each box is within a certain amount of, resources for each one. So they got to decide, right? What goes and what stays. What's the best compromise to give a package that people are willing to pay for, right? Well, the limitations they were under in the 90s were the number of cards. I think they could have 30 cards. And so Sinestro doesn't get a card, but this other character gets a card. Or this artifact gets a card, but this other one doesn't. And so that's why you had, a limitation. And now, when they did the Mythic tier, I think it was more just like they create all the cards and then they create the quests, and it's like the designer of the quest still wants to go beyond that and say, well, I'll use my imagination to make even more interesting items, or I'll make even more interesting characters, even though I only have these miniatures to work with. Like, they could just say, no, don't create anything except what is in front of you. Like, if there's no card, then you can't make it. So they could give you 10 cards and you'd make 11 things. So they give you 11 cards, you make 12 things. It's always going on and on like that. But yes, I get it. People want a card. So the Frozen Horror gets a card even though he only appears once in the quest. Well, or once in the campaign. Well, originally the Frozen Horror had 2 appearances. They cut one of the appearances. I had, I put it back in, again, based on the draft when we played, because I wanted to put that cutting room floor stuff back on screen. But Sinestro doesn't have a card. And they could have given her a card in the new version, but I think they just didn't because the original didn't. And they were still pretty much just copying what was already there. But they started to make some modifications. They were saying, yeah, if you want to use mercenaries from another quest pack in Mage of the Mirror, go for it. Because, I mean, frankly, you need them. You kind of need them. Unless your heroes have leveled up so much that they can just plow through it. Bohemia says that's why we need an official leveling system for the groups who want to play all boxes with the same characters. Well, I would be fine with, yeah, some type of calculator or some type of scalable difficulty. I mean, Zargon could do this on the fly anyway. Like, we know what the book says, but you know what? If you want that empty room to be full of skeletons, guess what? It's full of skeletons because you said so, right? The heroes, unless they're peeking or memorize the map, they can't see what you're doing. If you say that's what it is, then that's what it is. If you decide, you know what, this guy has more magic than he originally did, oh, the guy only had 2 body points. Well, if you say he has 20 body points, he has 20 body points. But yes, what they could do, and we saw this Doug do this with Dread on the Horizon at the last Gen Con, is let's probably check and see what StrangeBus is doing here. He might not be back yet. Yeah, I think he's still busy. Well, yeah. So what Doug did in this new quest was to say, like, he would put a little note, and a little extra note for Zargon saying, well, if the heroes are having a hard time, do this. Or like if you're running short on time, you need to end the quest, do this. You can do that. You could create a quest and say, okay, if these are first-time heroes or inexperienced heroes, this happens. If these are veteran heroes, if they're really strong, if they've been playing for a while, do this. Rise of the Dread Moon had some of that. So it would say like, oh, if you have the reputation token, this happens. If you don't, then this other thing happens. Just like you could say, well, if you have the Spirit Blade, this happens. If you don't have it, this other thing happens. And so that gives Zargon kind of a clue, kind of a guide to say, oh yeah, I don't know anything about running a campaign. I don't know. I'm an inexperienced GM, but as I'm running the game for my friends, oh, I know they haven't beaten any quests yet, so I should do this. Or if they already have a certain level of armor, a certain level of gold, do this to make it consistent. Yeah, make it interesting. Because you don't want them to be bored. You don't want them to be frustrated because it's like seemingly impossible. Like it feels like they're cheating. I can't win. There's no chance. There's no point. Jungles of Delthrak also did this. So I think Doug is on the right track. Doug and the team are on the right track. The Avalon Hill guys are getting it, and they're implementing more of it. So Jungles of Delthrak had different versions of death saves. So a hero gets to 0 body points, what happens? Well, you could either just say, yeah, he dies, and if he has a healing potion or spell, he can just use it immediately, except in a couple circumstances where, he already did an action on his turn, so he can't cast a spell again. But otherwise, it's like, oh, he just saves himself with a healing potion. That's cool. But you could do another version of it where you put the skull token and somebody else can administer a potion to him as long as they're not adjacent to a monster. Or you could do, that was the heroic version of incapacitation. You die, you don't really die. It's like you have a chance in the round for somebody to save you. Or you could do the story mode where it's like basically you just auto heal as long as you've killed all the monsters. If you don't kill all the monsters, then yeah, eventually everybody dies. So yeah, that was an attempt to do it. And there was also a couple of quests, I think early on in Jungles of Delthrak, it was like, if this is you have a choice. You can take this path or you can take this other path. It was like, oh, this path is recommended for less experienced heroes or something, or beginners. Like, okay, well, that's a cool little guideline. So I think that's definitely a good thing. But yeah, you're right. Let's say they take the same heroes and they play the quest packs in a totally different order. Like some quest packs are really easy. Those are going to be like boring because yeah, if you just play it as written, they're just going to plow through it easily. Whereas other ones are going to be so hard. Like if Frozen Horror was assuming, you beat Keller's Keep, Return of the Witch Lord, and the 14, and you're just starting on that one, you're going to get destroyed over and over again. And it's not like you can memorize the quest because Zargon's supposed to change the quest. Now, First Light has a nice little. I disagree with some of the changes to First Light from the game system, but in First Light in the booklet it does tell you like if all the heroes get killed, like total party kill, and they replay it, yeah, you're supposed to remix the quest. And here's an example: you can make it easier. You could remove some of the monsters. You could add more healing potions. It's like aha. So that advice, I mean, you wouldn't have to. You could make it harder, right? But yeah, that advice is to guide Zargon. Not to say you can't have your simple dungeon crawling adventure, but eventually, improvising, customizing, modding, all that stuff is encouraged. And eventually, if you can make your own full blown adventures, that's even cooler. But you wouldn't have to. You could just still work within the game that you're given, but just, kind of tweak things a little bit. And that's what we do in HeroQuest fans. So you'll notice that we're not playing quests that I wrote. I mean, I guess you could say those arena challenges I wrote, but I'm mostly just using like modifications of the rules of the existing rules. But a lot of the times we're just improvising. So somebody during the stream decides to upgrade a monster. Well, guess what? That's just a prompt for me. I'm not an AI, but it's like that's a prompt for me to go, how would I upgrade this guy? Well, I'll make him elite. So he's stronger attack, stronger defense. But I could just be like, oh yeah, now he's a ghostly monster who can like teleport through walls and like throw magic at people. It's like that's kind of cool. And hey, it's not my fault. Somebody in the crowd told me to do it. But I mean, really, I wanted to do it. That was just my excuse, right? See, little trick there. But I enjoy that. And I think that's part of the fun, getting people into games like HeroQuest. You can stay with HeroQuest and you can have all the fun that you could imagine. But if you're trying to get into these RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, but you're intimidated by it, you're scared, you're thinking, man, this is too hard, this is too much to think about. Well, you can kind of like learn the ropes by playing like an easier, simpler game, right? Kind of get your bearings, kind of get a handle on it, and maybe it'll help you in these other games. Because really, you can do the same thing. Of course, you can also simplify those more complicated games to be more like HeroQuest. You can do it both ways. You can make HeroQuest more complicated and back and forth. Yeah. So anyway, I feel like I'm telling that same story to a lot of people, but I mean, you have people, all kinds of people in the community. Some people who have played the classic game for years, and they're just now noticing what Avalon Hill is doing. Or they're getting into the Avalon Hill game, but they don't know about the classic game. Or they're doing both and they're comparing, and contrasting the different versions. Bohemia says, yes, but Frozen Horror and Mage of the Mirror are already built to be a challenge, like they had already implemented the difficulty. All the others require a standard method to make it more difficult for the Zargon that doesn't have years of experience. I agree with you. Yeah. I really didn't find myself having to tone down any of the other quests. My strategy for Mage of the Mirror was to make it harder. Like when you guys were playing, I was making it harder. Because that party was already at the point where they were not challenged by the stuff that was already on the page. So I was going back to the drafts, which were harder, a harder version of the game, to make it like even to what you were doing. But I mean, I could have just, when we started playing Frozen Horror, it was definitely, I was trying to make it easier for the heroes. So I was giving the heroes access to more things. I was letting more heroes play in those solo quests. I mean, I did the same thing with Mage of the Mirror, but once we were through the solo quests, then it was like I was making the game harder, not easier. But Frozen Horror, rather than changing the quest to make the quest easier, like I could have taken out monsters, I could have taken out traps, because those quests took ages to get through. I mean, 4, 6 hours, 8 hours, like multiple sessions to get through one quest. I mean, it's insane, right? It worked, but it was kind of crazy. But what I would, instead of taking stuff out, I was adding stuff in. So I was giving the heroes more opportunities. Like, oh, they found some more potions. Or, oh, there was an elixir of life. So they brought one of the guys back and now they can like keep fighting. Or, oh, they have another opportunity. They got more gold than they normally would have. Stuff like that. I offered new weapons that they didn't have access to before. So I was trying to allow them, if they got that stuff, to be powerful enough that they could experience the quest as it was written. I let them break the Yeti hold, the Yeti hug. But yeah, with Mage of the Mirror, I had to increase it. Now, I think there was a couple of points in Joe Manganiello's Crypt of Perpetual Darkness where I did increase the difficulty. So the flaming skulls that appeared, like at first I didn't understand quite how they worked. I thought they were just like any other enemy. They show up, they attack you. Well, what's really supposed to happen is you discover them and they attack you instantly. Like even though it's still your turn, it's not Zargon's turn. They're like a trap. And they get to attack on Zargon's turn. So they're like wandering monsters, really. So a bunch of them were destroyed before I realized that. So then I started implementing them the intended way, but then I added like lots of them. So there's like room full of like skulls like attacking. You guys may remember some of that. It's like, oh, all of a sudden there's like a swarm of them, like you're playing Doom or something. Remember those lost souls, those flaming skulls that fly around? That's what I was thinking of. So they're flying around trying to shoot you. And then when the dragon was fought, like my heroes got great rolls against him, I thought. The darkness that's supposed to protect him really didn't protect him very much. So what I did was I implemented the idea of the multi-stage monster, which we'd seen already in some other expansions, because we're playing them out of order, right? So I just had the dragon be multi-stage. So you kill him, and then he comes back as Ghidorah, because I had the miniatures from Godzilla Tokyo Clash. And then you kill Ghidorah, and he comes back as Godzilla. So, and they still defeated him, but it was funny. Because it's like, oh, he just keeps coming back as another monster. Yeah. Bohemian says, yes, but you have already your own leveling system that power up heroes and monsters. Yeah, right. But see, the problem that the problem, quote unquote, I'm dealing with is I have this idea that I'm going to take you guys through all of the official quests on HeroQuest fans. I'm going to take you through all of the Avalon Hill like packages. And the problem was I knew Frozen Horror was coming out when we started. I knew it was coming out soon, but I knew that we weren't going to be able to survive. So first I wanted to show in those early streams that, look, this is broken. Like Avalon Hill, you need to do something about this. Second, I was saying, but I still want to play it. So I'm going to give the heroes enough opportunities so that they will be able to survive it. I mean, you saw a lot of heroes died, and then a lot of mercenaries died too. So it wasn't just like a cakewalk. But I gave them all these I came up with my own leveling system. And this was a plan like years in the making. I was thinking like, okay, they're going to level up and they're going to be able to get through these. But once they got through Mage of the Mirror and Frozen Horror, it's like they kind of didn't need the leveling system. So I just decided when we did Rise of the Dread Moon, let's just start with basic heroes again. And we've kind of kept those guys. So we have like two groups of mostly leveled up heroes playing each expansion. But I think at this point, I kind of don't mind, because I think a lot of the heroes, our hero players, kind of regulate themselves. Like, okay, I'm going to let's try something new. Let's try a new hero. Or we get a new person join and, they just start with a basic hero, right? So rather than just kind of erasing all your progress and having you start over, I just do that. Okay, so yeah, StrangeBus is sending me a message letting me know he's tied up. So I'll just continue on. But yeah, we yeah, so many mercs died for the cause. You telling me I was bashing Joe? What was your fault all along? Well, I felt like when we were playing Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, I know Bohemius, because when you said Joe, most of the time I was trying to cover for his mistakes. Like, I thought there were some shortcomings in those quests. I thought it was a little easy in places. It was a little frustrating with the empty chests. But I've just told you, the few modifications I made, you can go back and watch the streams again. But the first modification I made was the tavern. You just fight a couple of monsters and then you leave. Oh, and you find the key or whatever. That's it. It's pretty anticlimactic. I mean, he made it such a big deal about you're in the tavern. This is where the story begins, the great adventure. So I played it up. I turned it into a tavern brawl. Like, I used a modified form of the arena rules from Against the Ogre Horde because I knew that was coming out. And so I made that first encounter in the tavern much more dramatic than he did. But you could say, hey, Joe inspired me, right? He gave us something to work with. We turned it into something else. The rest of the stuff I played pretty much straight, except when I got to those flaming skulls, I didn't quite understand how they worked. So the first flaming skulls were like too easily destroyed. So I added more of them to make up for it. And then the battle with the dragon, yeah, you kill the dragon and that's it. When you move on. So I made it a multi-stage dragon. But I mean, when the heroes fought Sinestra, it was like that too. I mean, Sinestra probably would have died pretty easily, but I had saved up all these chaos cards and evil wizard cards that people had bought for Zargon on the stream, and I'd saved them up because I was like, okay, I'm going to use these. So just when you think you've killed her, oh, she comes back, and you kill her again, and then she comes back again, and you kill her, and oh, and she survived. It's like the fight just keeps going on. I mean, that last fight, I want to say it was it 2.5 hours just for the boss fight. I mean, she's got a full size ogre with her and everything. It's like, you forget this 5 body points nonsense. It's like, no, we're just going to go all out because it's the final battle. Why not make it dramatic? So yeah, for the most part, I played Joe's quests as he wrote them because I wanted people to experience it as he wrote it. I think when you're going up and down the stairs, when they use the stairways from Keller's Keep, there weren't really any instructions on that. But I thought, well, how would it work? Like, okay, you go to the top of the stairs, you can see the guy at the bottom, but you're at the bottom of the stairs, you can't quite see the guy that's on the next ridge. So it kind of played with the line of sight a little bit. So I tried to do a few things kind of suggested by what he was doing. Now, the other Joe Koger says, I watched a playthrough from years ago where the player got booted if their hero got killed. That seems pretty harsh to me. Just let them start over with a new hero. Yeah, and you remember how Doug handled it. Well, in Bohemius, his character got killed, but I mean, he stayed. He didn't just like leave in a huff. Like, oh man, that's it. Of course, I've also seen games where it's like the person's got to leave. Like, they got to go. Like, everybody else is going to keep playing, but they're got to go for some other reason. It's like, oh, my guy died. Okay, well, I'm out. Good night. It's not like you're just sitting there, like, depressed because you're like, well, I wanted to keep playing, but you won't let me. Aw. It's like, okay, well, why don't you take over another character? Sure. Or you can help that guy do his thing or whatever. So, yeah, there's ways to keep it going. But I mean, I've played. I remember there was a family gathering around Christmas time, and we were playing cards. We were playing Tripoli, and we had a great game. I don't know if we played for an hour or something, and I got eliminated. It's like, okay, well, I'll just go wrap presents or eat cookies or I did something else for a while. And I was like, I wonder what everybody else is doing. And I come back and they're still playing, and I'm like, dang. Because then I was ready, like, can you deal me back in? Like, no, you gotta wait till the game. Oh, okay, fine, wait till it's over. But I mean, they were hardcore. They were just going round after round. It's like, oh man, we gotta eliminate somebody. We couldn't. So, I mean, a lot of games you never really finish it. Just like, okay, well, we got to do something else. It's time for dinner. We had fun, but it's a draw. Whatever. Second place, first place, whatever. It's for bragging rights. But yeah, we teased Joe a little bit on the stream. We certainly did. But I think what he did was he gave us a lot of ideas to play around with. So if you just play his quests the way they are, you might think, that's not that special. But because he gives you different tools to work with, you could turn it into something really cool. And that seems to be the general spirit of things with HeroQuest anyway. We need to complete your leveling system. then be released to the community. It's a solid system. Well, thank you, Bohemius. The only thing is, my system does make use of other fan-made stuff. So I use the combat cards, which you can get on Phoenix's page on Yield In. I use the German, the German dice, the power dice people call them, and you can make those yourself. You can buy them from lots of different people. But yeah, the power dice a lot, and I use tokens that I've made myself. Now that's just the leveling system. Now I also do the stream, and the stream has its own built-in system. So that's kind of a weird system. Like most people wouldn't use that. Most people would be just sitting at a table. They wouldn't be playing remotely over Twitch, right? You'd have to meet up with us or Danu or one of these other people who is doing like remote games. Well, I think even Danu, no, his people are. I think he's at a table, but then his players are coming in remotely. So yeah, we're doing this like, around the world global games type of thing, right? People are remoting in from other states, other countries. But most people who are playing HeroQuest are sitting at the table together, face to face, and they're playing. So whatever system they have is going to work with that. But still, yeah, thank you. The leveling system, the idea would be, yeah, over time the heroes change to either overcome some of their weaknesses or to get more of the things they're good at. Like, so the barbarian becomes even more of a fighter. The wizard becomes even more of a magician, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I was going for. But mostly it was so that we could survive those 2 quest packs, and it would still feel like you're playing HeroQuest, right? Rather than just saying, I mean, the easy way to do it would be just, yeah, take away enough of the monsters that you're not going to be dying every single room. Joe Koja says, in Doug's game last year, he let me come back as a mercenary when I got the Explorer killed. Yeah, that was kind of a cool thing. Now, he could have just given you a mercenary from the beginning, but he wanted to run it that way, and he just spur of the moment, yep, you die, you come back as another character. Why not? That's a brilliant, very simple, very easy solution to implement. Joe says, the uncommon feats of the wrestling moves. Yeah, you're right. I love those little things. And to me, that makes up for some of the criticisms that people have of HeroQuest. They say, oh, it's too limited. It doesn't have enough spontaneity. It doesn't have enough like interesting things. Because as Zargon, I can do whatever I want, right? But you as the hero can't. Like you're very limited. You're restricted. And people usually say that about Zargon. Oh, Zargon has nothing to do. Well, the heroes are restricted too. You've got your action. You can search, treasure traps, secret doors. You could attack something. You could cast a spell if you happen to have one. You can spend your gold on the stuff that's in the armory or the alchemist shop, and that's it. Right? You're just running around looking for treasure. Well, but what if, yeah, you could do these uncommon feats? So you use your imagination to ask me, Zargon, something, and if I think it's cool enough, I'll let you do it. But I'll make it dependent on a dice roll, right? And we'll agree ahead of time that if you fail, maybe there's a penalty, right? It's not just, win or nothing. It's like win or lose. And it increases the tension. And then if something happens, even though it was determined by a dice roll, then you play it up. Like, oh, he fell off the table and he clatters to the ground. Oh, what did I do? And the other heroes laugh. Like, oh man, quit making fun of me. It's like, it adds to the whole atmosphere. Like people riff on it and you can just have more fun. So I really like that. And I can't remember, well, yes. I think it came from a game that I was playing in person with a guy I had just met who happened to be a fan of HeroQuest from back in the day and happened to have like his old set like down the street. Like I can go get it and bring it to game night. It's like, really? Okay, we can try it. And as we were playing, we were talking about heroic feats. Like, oh, well, what if I did a heroic feat? Like, what do you mean? Like, well, what if I did this? It's like, well, I could roll the dice to see if that happens. Like, oh, it did. Okay. And then you make it happen. Something crazy like, oh man, I'm 2 steps away from the door. What if he just like dove for the door? Like, can he make it? It's like, oh, he falls to the ground and he misses, or he throws his dagger at the door to like open it so the other guy can see and shoot him, or I don't know. You just come up with crazy stuff. You throw the potion down the hallway so the guy can catch it. Oh, he dropped it, it broke. Yeah, the uncommon feats. And then the wrestling moves, that came from reading the draft notes of the Frozen Horror, how they were saying like you roll the Yeti grabs your hero, right? He's holding on to you. That hug, which does damage every turn. You roll the 2 dice, and you get one shield, one white shield. It negates the damage, but you're still in the hold. If you got 2 white shields, you break the hold. And I was like, but what if you rolled 3 dice and you got 3 shields? You reverse the hold, like you grab him, you know. But then you gotta like so. But then I said, well, but what if you did it anytime? I was kind of thinking of Space Crusade, because in Space Crusade, the 2 characters, like you approach the other character, you attack them melee, but they get to attack you, and so it's like whoever gets the highest roll wins. And so it's like combat is happening all the time, not just I attack you, you defend, your turn, you attack me, I defend. It's like, no, I attack you, and like, but even though I'm the attacker, I could die. Like if I get a bad roll and you get a great roll, I could just die right there. So it speeds the combat up. So yeah, with the wrestling moves, it's like, okay, you're just fighting these big battles, especially as you get stronger. I mean, wrestling did happen in the Middle Ages. I mean, these knights, they would wrestle each other to the ground, get the dagger and jab it into the guy, in the space between the plates of armor, get him, wrestle the weapon away. Um, that happened a lot apparently. So it fits right in. And the bad guys can get him too. So a monster is probably not very likely to roll 3 black shields, but unless you're Doug, he does that. It's like, oh, the monster does a wrestling move to the hero. And a lot of times I look at like sort of the psychology of professional wrestling, like the bad guys, the heels, they always do like dastardly things, like they sneak the brass knuckles in and sucker punch you, or they throw the salt in the eyes, or they pull the turnbuckle pad away and then like bash your head into it, or they poke you in the eye or whatever. So it's like yeah, they do those kind of moves, or they take your signature move and they do it to you to humiliate you or whatever. Yeah, so we have fun with that. It's good stuff. And if they're super lucky, it is at Ribby's awesome 3D printed board. Yeah, Ribby had a really cool board. Well, there are a couple of topics. So since StrangeBus had to duck out, he's got family stuff to do. He fought Guile, and Guile told him, go home and be a family man, and so he did. Well, there were a couple other topics, and I definitely want to have him here to discuss them more thoroughly. But some of the issues that were brought up, so one of the topics was some Chinese games blatantly ripping off US games. And the problem is the type of games they're talking about I'm not as familiar with. But I guess people were just having a field day on Blue Sky. I'm not on Blue Sky. I'm not on Twitter either. But this Light of Motaram. So this guy's like making fun of the fact that this game, I guess, looks a lot like another game. So if anybody gets that, Sony sues Tencent for allegedly ripping off Horizon video games. Well, all right, surely it can't be that blatant. Yeah. So anyway, I guess knockoffs, pirated games, copies, all that stuff, bootlegs have been an issue, let's say, from that part of the world for a long time. But yeah, I guess sometimes it's more blatant than others, more obvious. Yep. And another thing, let's see. So PC Gamer has a ton of articles. They've been just going nuts about it. And there's some topics I don't really want to get into, but there's a lot of issues regarding, let's say, adult content. on some of these platforms, and the questions of, are they hypocritical to have the stuff and like put it off to the side or whatever. But I think what I'm just going to say about it is this, like, just like with the gambling stuff, you could say, I mean, sometimes these companies, like, they claim they're not doing it, but you feel like they're putting this stuff out there because they don't care. Like, they don't care if kids can get it. They don't care if it's a shady way to, like, get attention. They'll just skirt around the law and just do it. So I think if they're policing themselves a little better, even if it's just because it's a very cynical way of doing it, if they're only doing it for the money or because of bad publicity or because they got caught, fair enough, fine. So another topic. So a lot of these articles look like they were written with AI. I mean, no offense, or maybe some offense, but yeah, a lot. It's hard to. I remember when PC Gamer was like really cool. Like I couldn't wait to read it. Now it's just like it just looks just as sloppy as everything else these days. Unfortunately, magazines are not what they used to be. But yeah, they're talking about censorship. I would just say this again, without. I don't want to get political on it. A lot of the stuff we're talking about is people get mad when their thing gets censored, right? Like you can't do that. You can't censor my stuff. Well, I feel like everybody has some level of censorship that they kind of agree with. I mean, there's some types who are like, no, everything should be allowed. But we were just talking about the fact, oh, would you allow people to, get murdered on your stream? Well, no, you shouldn't. Would you allow, criminal activity? No. It's like, okay, so you have some standards. It's like, okay, well, what about like inciting people to do criminal activity? Would you allow that? No. Okay. Okay, but what about something that you consider really, really offensive? Like really, really offensive? Like, okay, well, I wouldn't allow that. Aha! So you do have a limit. So I think everybody has a limit. Maybe you don't think about it, but the question is, a lot of these companies, I sort of have this idea that they're very amoral. Like they don't really care that much. As long as it makes them money. But if they have a sense that it's going to hurt their reputation, that it's going to hurt sales, they'll stop doing it. So I think over and over, we say this on the Rantcast, you as the consumer have a lot of power in that sense. Even if you're not a shareholder or stakeholder or whatever, you're just a consumer, like you can get these companies sometimes to change their behavior. Because if you make them afraid they're going to lose money, they'll compromise. So if you don't like what a company is doing, make us think about it. Change may happen. I mean, one person does it, they probably ignore you, but enough people do it, and sometimes not even that many. So we can do 2 HeroQuest Power Hours. Yeah. Well, I think I've said a lot about HeroQuest. I enjoy talking about it. It doesn't have to just be news, right? I can just talk about old stuff. But I think some of those old topics do come up. But I think with the game industry, let me just say this, vote with your wallet. I mean, I think Bohemius, you spar with the StrangeBus a lot on this point, which is, well, why can't the company do it, right? Why, if it's working, why wouldn't they do it? That kind of thing. But I think I've talked about this in terms of HeroQuest. You've got a lot of people who will just say, you know what, the Avalon Hill team, they're artists, they're designers. Let them use their creative freedom. They just do whatever they want, right? And if you don't like it, don't worry about it. And what's the difference between that and saying, well, I don't like what you're doing, Avalon Hill. I'm going to not buy your product, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to say it because I'm hoping that you'll change your mind and you'll try to win me over by doing things that I want. And then when you do the things I want, I'm going to praise you and buy your product to show that, you're meeting my needs as a consumer. So it's like this give and take. And I think it's a fine line, because on the one hand, I want to say, hey, artists, do whatever you want, express yourself, even if everyone hates it, you love it, everyone hates it, just do your thing. But at the same time, I realize like you're trying to make money. Like you can't just it's like, oh, I kept it real. I kept my integrity, but I starved to death because nobody bought my stuff because everyone hated it. Like I was the only person that liked it. It's like, okay, well, Avalon Hill is not running a charity. They're not. They didn't just get a grant and they're just going to create art for the sake of art. It's like, no, they work for a company that's trying to make a profit. So they may have all the idealism in the world of how they want to do things, but they realize that they have to compromise. They have to do what Hasbro wants because Hasbro's paying them. They have to do what the consumers want because if they don't, they're not going to make money, and then Hasbro's going to cut their funding or cut them off or whatever, switch them over to doing something else. So there is a compromise. So you get your auteur filmmakers like George Lucas, who makes episode one the way he wanted to make it, right? And fans complained. He made a ton of money, but they didn't sell as much merchandise as they wanted. Fans complained, media made fun of him, and so when he made episode two, he made some changes. He did some more things that fans wanted and maybe a little bit less of the things that he wanted to do. Episode three, he did even more stuff that he thought was expected, right? And a little less of the things that he wanted to do. So it was still a compromise. You might say, well, what a terrible thing. He should have just been able to do whatever he wanted, but he still wanted to make money and he wanted the fans to like him, right? There's I think a lot of creators like when I do stuff, like I like it when people praise me, right? I want to keep it real, but at the same time, I have feelings and if everybody's saying I'm wrong, I'm going to start thinking, well, am I wrong? No, it's the rest of them are wrong. Sometimes you got to stick to your guns, but sometimes the people are right. And if I want people to keep tuning in, I have to kind of meet them halfway. I have to do some of the things that they want. I mean, unless it's something I absolutely refuse to do. And it's like, fine, I'll be less popular and I'll just do what I want. But if I know that, hey, people want to see the body points on the screen while we're playing HeroQuest, okay, I kind of didn't want to do that, but I'll do it. And now I'm used to it and I don't mind. Virtual dice. I mean, when that first started, I kind of had some thoughts about it. It's like, well, I like rolling the dice. But then I was thinking, okay, I'm rolling a lot of dice because I'm rolling dice for everyone. And sometimes you can't see them very well on the screen. And once we started doing the mentor bot dice that Ribby designed, it's like, okay, the system works. It's kind of helpful. It's kind of good, actually. It increases the interactivity. And then when he was able to connect it with DD dice, it looked pretty sweet. So I'm all in on it now. But at one time, I was kind of reluctant to try it because I wasn't sure if it was going to compromise like the way I wanted to do things. Like I wanted to have the HeroQuest streams be about the physical board game, not just because I could do it all digital. I could have done Tabletop Simulator like a lot of people were doing at the time. Like at the time it was like, well, why would you point the camera at the board? That's silly. Just do Tabletop Simulator. It's so much better. Or I could have run the companion app, which I did a few times on the stream, and I still would. It's kind of a different way of doing things. But I mean, I could have done all digital, right? And there's other ways to play HeroQuest digitally, but I wanted to do the physical thing. So now I guess it's just kind of a hybrid. It's kind of a mixture of digital and the actual physical board. Of course, I'm interacting with it. You guys aren't. You guys are watching me do it. But it's still, I don't know. To me, it's like I'm still trying to bring some of that physicality of the original game there. So you could almost imagine you're just sitting across the table from me, or you're standing over my shoulder, I guess is really what you're doing. You're standing over my shoulder as I'm moving the pieces around. You're telling me where to move it, and I'm moving it there. Which sometimes we're sitting at the table, somebody else is eating, junk food or whatever, or they can't reach, and so, oh yeah, I'll just move it for you. You want them over here by the chair or by the door? Oh, by the door. Okay, we're moving them there. So yeah, you can do it. If we don't like it, we can play Carnival Quest. Well, I am fascinated by Carnival's dedication to rewriting every classic quest. But when you think about it, what he's doing is not so crazy because what am I doing when I'm homebrewing? I'm kind of rewriting it, right? I'm kind of changing it. I'm kind of altering it. Now he's actually going through, I guess, in updating the lore to what he wants it to be, which I've done that too. I've updated parts of some of the stuff is just in the background. It's just in my head. I'm not saying it as we're playing, but I'm kind of thinking about it. So it's kind of guiding some of my decisions, some of my creative decisions as we play. Or yeah, parts of the quest, like he's changing it. He doesn't feel it's the way he wants it, so he changes it. That's a lot of work. But in a way, I'm doing that myself. And I think most people who are playing HeroQuest are making slight changes. And it's not wrong to do that because the game basically is built to, accept those changes. So a lot of times I'm playing, and sometimes it's just a human error. You turn a corner, the door is supposed to be here, but I put it in the wrong spot. Oh, okay, no big deal. But now all of a sudden the room is in a different spot than it was originally. So now I've got to like rearrange the room so that it works. Or other times I've forgot to put a door down. So it's like, oh shoot, what do I do? Oh, we'll just make it a secret door. They search for secret doors. Oh, there's the door that was supposed to be there all along, right? So I've changed the quest, but all I'm doing is I'm covering for a mistake just to make the game still go. Because it could just say, oh, hey guys, I totally forgot to put this door down, which I've done that too. It's like, okay, there it is. Like, oh, well, that changes everything. Well, now we can go that way. But if you make it a secret door, it just kind of, it's a little more seamless. So, secrets of Zargon. And other times I'll see something in the book like ahead. It's like, oh yeah, there's a spot where there's a guy who's going to sell you something. Like that's cool. Well, what if he could sell you more stuff? Like maybe you just stay there and you kind of shop for a while. Like that could be fun. Or, there's something in the book that suggests something. Like, oh, we're in a tavern. You're going to fight some guys. Well, what if it was a full-blown, arena, the town guard, busts the door down and now you got to fight a whole bunch of guys and you're slamming people through tables and it gets your creative juices going. So I think if you are playing HeroQuest and you get in a situation where you see something and you really want to just go with it, just do more with it. You want to role play, arguing with the villagers through the doorway, like, hey, where's the secret cadre of the Raven's Veil? Go away. You're trying to like talk to them. Go with it, try it. And in First Light, in the booklet, they do say that. They say, well, you don't have to role play in this game, but if you want to, we encourage you, go for it. They don't tell you what that means specifically, but it could just be something as simple as ad-libbing as you play. So absolutely. Yep. So some of the other topics out here, I think there have been some scandals like in the Roblox community, which I haven't read a lot about, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it, and I think it's one of these cases where, unfortunately, yeah, you get people who abuse their power, abuse the system to abuse other people, and it's really terrible, and it makes you just not want to be a part of it. It makes you want to, yeah, just, I don't know. Institutions, unfortunately, like just about every institution you can think of has been infected with, yeah, people who abuse their power to abuse other people. And it's worse when the institution tries to cover it up or tries to make it like it's not a big deal or look the other way or whatever else. And then they get caught and then it's worse, right? So watch what your kids do online. Maybe don't even let them get online. I don't know. I don't have any kids, so I can't really say. But if you're a parent in this day and age, you got to be vigilant. You got to protect them. I mean, you can't protect them from everything. I mean, they say, oh, you can't shelter your kids, but you can protect them from a lot of stuff. And I think if you take certain precautions, I think you can at least keep them away from some of the stuff. I was reading, there was an article, I know I should have put it on the screen, but about just a school, like a local school, where they just banned smartphones, like from bell to bell. So the beginning of the school day to the end, you can't have your phone. You can't have your device. So, oh, what if you have to call home? You can go to the principal's office, call your parents or whatever. But they said they were pointing out like all these statistics, and assuming the numbers are right, but it's like the test scores went up, the incidences of bullying went down, like all this stuff, like everything was like positive of not having that extra distraction of people with their smartphones, like in the classroom or on the playground or whatever. Actually, I think it was a junior high. I think they did with a junior high and a high school. Just an experiment. But yeah, it's tough because it's in the culture. Like you got to have a smartphone, you got to have a smart device, smartwatch, whatever with you all the time. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like, oh, you brought your Game Boy or something. You brought your Tiger LCD thing, and you're playing it in class. Like, you get in trouble because you got caught. But yeah, now it's like, no, I need this for education. It's like, nah, you're probably not. So I guess I'm just being an old fogey. But yeah. So yeah, I think parents have their work cut out for them in this day and age. But yeah, there's predators out there. There's bullies, there's predators, there's corporations that are going after your kids. It's nuts. So yeah, more power to those parents who actually take an interest in what their kids are doing. Try to teach them, try to raise them right, try to help them navigate uh, all those issues. Oh, and Terrence Stamp passed away. So General Zod, I guess he was Chancellor Valorum in episode 1. So rest in peace to an actor who played some really memorable roles in my childhood. General Zod from the Superman movies. Kneel before me, son of Jor-El. Yep, his back and forth with Gene Hackman, who's also passed away. Rest in peace to him. Yeah, so Terrence Stamp as General Zod, Superman 2. His back and forth with Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor was just great. It's like, why do you speak to me in this way when you know I will kill you for it? It's like, kill me? Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our age, ruler of Australia. It's just, I mean, it's a good movie. It's got some flaws, but yeah, Christopher Reeve as Superman, Margot Kidder. Well, let me say this. I did finally watch the James Gunn Superman. Everyone calls it the James Gunn Superman, 2025. And I will say the review posted by Film Threat, I'm not trying to sound like a shill or anything, but Film Threat, their review of Superman 2025 was spot on. Like, I would be hard pressed to find anything in their review that I disagree with. And I'm not saying that like I agree with everything they say because I know that their bias is in favor of like independent films. They're more likely to bash Hollywood stuff and praise like small time movies. Some of their takes are hilarious, but pretty much all the stuff that they said about James Gunn's Superman, like the stuff they said was weird or silly, it's like, yeah, I noticed it too. It's like, yep, they're pretty much right. Because, sometimes you read a review and some reviewer will get hung up on some part of a movie and say, man, it ruined it. It was terrible. And then you watch the movie and you're like, yeah, it really wasn't that bad. Like, I think that was just your problem. So it's cool when you get like on the same wavelength as a reviewer and you think, okay, like on this issue, we agree. Like, so I trust you now because you're picking up the same things I'm picking up. Because other times it's like, okay, well, the reason they didn't like this is because they have this particular taste or this particular worldview, and they couldn't get past that. Whereas I don't have that same take, so it's fine. Like, it's not a problem for me. So yeah, I definitely say the James Gunn Superman. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was a D box movie, so I was like in a lounge chair, and they would shake the chair like it would jolt back and forth when stuff would happen. And at first I thought it was going to be a joke, like, somebody sets a pencil down and it would be like boom, it'd shake the chair. But no, or somebody gets patted on the back, they wouldn't do it. But like if somebody falls down, like someone's get punched or something explodes, it would just shake, and it didn't at first I thought it was going to be super annoying because the Predator movie trailer did that, and I was like, oh, this movie looks dumb. But it was like shaking the chair. It's like, okay, someone kicking my chair? No, it's intentional. And there was a switch on the chair. You could change the intensity. So I put it all the way up because I'm like, okay, well, let's just see what this is like. And it's just like, but I wasn't getting like seasick or anything. Wasn't like a ride. It reminded me of those. So way back in the day, this is really old. They called it the magic fingers. Like you go to the hotel and you put the money. There's like a coin slot in your bed, and it would shake the bed. It's supposed to be like a massage. It was kind of weird, kind of strange. But at the mall, they would have these easy chairs that you could sit in, and you could swipe your card, you put money in it, and it was called the magic fingers. And it was supposed to like massage your back, so you're tired, you're trying to like relax. But it reminded me of that, except it wasn't doing it the whole time. It was just doing it in sync with the action. So just kind of a gimmick, but it was kind of interesting to try it. It cost a few dollars more to do it. The chair wasn't super comfortable. Like my feet were like swinging. I mean, I have fairly long legs, but my feet were swinging. So I leaned way back in it. So I reclined in it, turned it up to the maximum, and then, yeah, throughout the movie. There were a couple points where like there would be like a crowd scene. The crowd was like waving their arms, and the chair would just like gently sway back and forth. So it's like, okay, they did other stuff besides just jolt, shake. But yeah, the Superman movie, the way it started, um, it was just some text like saying, "Oh yeah, he's been Superman for 3 years. All this stuff happened," and I'm like, that text right there, that could have been a really interesting like part of the movie. Like, why didn't they make that? That could have been a whole movie in and of itself, or at least a montage or something. So yeah, Film Threat, they said that. I agree with them 100% on that. That would have been a good thing to show rather than just all of a sudden the first thing you see, just like in the trailer, oh, he's beat up, he's in the snow. And the way the movie ended, the post credits scene, I mean, I had to suspend my expectations because so when I the first comic books that I read as a kid were from like the early to mid 70s. So like 1970 to 19, I think the latest one was from 1977 because there was like a Black Panther comic that was from 77. But most of them for like 70, 71, 72, 3, 4, 5. And at that time you had the current versions of the like the DC superheroes, so Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern. But in these comics, they would be like giant size comics where they would have like the main adventure, but then they would be like extra pages at the end where they would have like a bonus story. And a lot of times the story was taken from like earlier eras of comics. So the 70s, that would have been the silver age of comics for like Marvel and DC and so on, Atlas and other comics like that. Um, but there was like the golden age was before that. So like stuff from not necessarily like the way back in the 40s, but like from like the maybe not even the 50s, but more like the 60s. So you have a 70s comic and you have a 60s like adventure in it. So you'd have Superman, but then you'd have like Superboy, and it would be like really goofy. Like there would be a lot more humor, a lot more whimsical stuff. Like he's traveling through time and he's hanging out with like super animals, super pets. There was like a super monkey, I think, and a super horse, and Crypto the super dog. And of course there was Supergirl, and then I think Ma and Pa Kent, like Pa Kent got superpowers one time, and there was Bizarro, and there's Bizarro World, and there was just tons of stuff. I was expecting to see more of that in the movie. Like I was thinking, are we going to see Brainiac? Are we going to see Mixoplick? Are we going to see the Bottle City of Candor? But no, we didn't. But we did see a lot of things. I mean, you had a different version of the Justice League, and it was fine. I think I think the actress who played Lois Lane reminded me a lot of Margot Kidder, the actress, rest in peace, who played Lois Lane in the Christopher Reeve Superman movies from the late 70s to the early 80s. So that was kind of cool. I guess I think if you took the James Gunn Superman, it doesn't stack up to Christopher Reeve Superman, the Richard Donner. It's not as good as that. But it is, and I like this version of Superman better than the um, the Zack Snyder Superman because I felt like he was. I mean, Henry Cavill did his best, but he was just a much more like he wasn't the Superman that I wanted. Like he was like reluctant, or he was like brooding, or he was pouting, or he wasn't living up to his ideals. And Zack Snyder said something like, "Well, by the end of my Superman trilogy, he will be the Superman he was always meant to be, like the Superman that you wanted. But he won't be that at the beginning. Like he has to get there." Now I remember Man of Steel, like the fight between the Kryptonians, I thought was really cool. But I thought the way that like Superman makes his choices, like his moral choices, it was just like, no, what are you doing? It doesn't make any sense. Like he kills an entire planet and he feels nothing. But then he kills one guy and then he breaks down. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Doesn't quite work for me. But you could say, well, maybe he just screwed up. That was bad writing, or he doesn't understand his own universe well enough. You could make up whatever excuses you want. And then with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, it's like, okay, well, it had some good ideas, but I don't know. It just the Batman in that one wasn't the Batman that I wanted. Like he's just too casual about killing, and he's just too, I don't know. Like Superman is just too much of a pushover. Like the Batman can out. I mean, okay, you think, okay, Batman's smarter than Superman. He can outthink him, but Superman just kind of seemed like a dolt. And then so to outsmart him wasn't that tough for Batman. And then of course people always make fun of them. Martha, why did you say that name? It's like, okay, that's really silly. And Lex Luthor, I mean, Jesse Eisenberg, he's playing a character, but that's not the Lex Luthor. Like I want the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. Or I'll take the Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor. This Lex Luthor is just irritating. So yeah, he'd just be a different character. But Justice League, of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, you could say that was a bloated mess, or it had some good ideas, or it was nice to just see him finish his trilogy. But yeah, by the end, it's like this is the Superman we know and love. So I feel like James Gunn's Superman is closer to that ideal. So I liked his Superman better. But some of the jokes, like to make the movie better, I would just edit out some of those jokes because it wasn't quite as in your face like the Marvel humor where you can never have a serious scene because there's always like a joke, always a silly joke, always a stupid, like fourth wall breaking, like crap take to ruin it. So it can never be serious. It was a really long movie. I would have wanted to see more of Ma and Pa Kent. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I can recommend James Gunn's Superman. I think a lot of people praised it because we've gotten a lot of like lackluster or mediocre or even terrible superhero movies lately. And so it's like, because it's above average, it's like great. I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but I've heard similar things to that. I kind of like to watch that, but I've also heard, yeah, it's above average because we've gotten so few good superhero movies in theaters. It's a breath of fresh air. People give it more of a pass. So, and then we've got this Naked Gun remake with Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson, kind of sounds similar. The trailers don't make it look like anything special. It looks dumb. It looks really stupid. I keep thinking of the Pink Panther movies. Like Inspector Clouseau, played by Peter Sellers, was just such an iconic character and had such a cult following. And then you get Roberto Benigni trying to do it, and it's like, I don't know, just isn't the same. And then you get Steve Martin trying to do it. It's like, no, it's not working. It's just not working. So I can't imagine Lieutenant Frank Drebin of Police Squad being played by anyone but Leslie Nielsen. Now I get it, in this new movie, it's not he's not playing the same character. He's playing like his son or his grandson. I don't know. It's a relative, but I mean, it tells you in the trailer all the story, and they make fun of the fact that um, the son of O.J. Simpson is like, no, don't care for that guy because we know unfortunately what happened. But yeah, I don't know. It's the new Naked Gun movie. I'm not expecting anything from it. I mean, comedies have suffered a lot. If it ends up being good, great. But I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think it'll be forgotten. It'll be a flop. But it's one of those movies that I probably wouldn't watch until like it was free, just out of sheer boredom and curiosity, morbid curiosity. But I mean, Liam Neeson, he's doing fine. So if it's just a movie where he can just be silly and uh, collect a paycheck, good for him. So, oh, Bohemius, yeah, just like you have airplane mode, you could have school mode for a phone. It's like you can only do emergency calls or something. Yeah, the problem is they say it's like kids, they get distracted, they get scammed, they get bullied, all this stuff on phones, and it's just like, yeah, what's it really doing? I mean, if I were that age and I had a phone, like back in the 90s, I probably would have used it. I probably would have been like, oh, cool. Because what did I want to do? Did I want to study? Or did I want to watch TV and play video games and watch movies and eat junk food? Like, I didn't want to do stuff that was good for me. I wanted to do stuff that I thought was good, but really it was short sighted. I did some of that stuff, but it's like, I'm glad that I didn't do as much of it. I'm glad I did, uh, try new things, do extracurricular activities, do, study things that I didn't think I'd be interested in because either it was useful or it was actually really interesting, right? But if I'd just been left to my own devices, yeah, I wouldn't have, I just would have been a complete bum, really, using it in the old sense. Yep. All right. Well, guys, yeah, if StrangeBus was with me, I think we would cover those other topics much more in depth. But I think it's still a matter of, nothing's really changed in the sense that we still have to keep after these companies to like treat their customers right, not abuse people, not abuse their power, not cheat. And we still have to kind of hold each other accountable. It's like, it's easy to point the finger at somebody else and go, yeah, look at that guy and how much he's screwing up. But it's like, but what are you doing? Right? We have to try to set a good example, learn from our mistakes, give people another chance if they're sincere. If they're not, then why? You know, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of bad behavior out there, unfortunately. Well, guys, we're getting into the 11 o'clock hour, and I am pretty tired. So I think if there aren't any more comments, I know we've been staring at the same blue sky thing for ages, but I think it's time to wrap it up. We didn't do a break or anything, but thanks, Joe. Thanks, Bohemius. Thanks, anybody else who stopped by to check us out. As usual, we'll be putting this on YouTube within 48 hours, and it'll go on Spotify a little bit after that. But yeah, as always, check out TheStrangeBus on YouTube and Twitch. He's gotten a lot busier lately, but you can check out his old stuff on those things. And you can check my stuff out on XSC3, home of HeroQuest fans on YouTube. And of course, twitch.tv/HeroQuest fans. We stream just about every weekend playing HeroQuest on Friday and Saturday. I will say when we did the arena mode, it was interesting. The arena challenge, rather, hero versus hero. It took a long time for those heroes to die. Like the monks survived the first battle, but I mean it was like over 3 hours. The second one, nobody died except Zargon's stuff, and I was like, the heroes are sending a message like we won't fight for you. We're gonna. So I think it is definitely time to go back to the regular quests. I mean we did our arena thing, got it out of our system for now. Start preparing for the next one. I'll try to have some interesting surprises to make it interesting, refinements, based on feedback. But I think we'll be heading back to the quests this weekend. We should be able to be streaming against the Ogre Horde again on Friday. 2:15 p.m. Central Standard Time on twitch.tv/HeroQuest fans. And then Jungles of Delthrak, 7 to 9 p.m. Saturday, also on Twitch. And we'll keep an eye out for any news about Wizards of Morcar. I think Essen, Spiel Essen is the next game convention, and maybe a couple of hints, nudges towards maybe there being some type of reveal from Patrick and the gang. I mean, they never said it, so you can't pin Patrick down and said he told me. It's like, no, he didn't tell me, but he kind of hinted, maybe. So, and Doug too. He didn't say it, but he hinted. So I'm expecting some type of announcement, reveal, tease beyond what we already know at Spiel Essen. So that will be, I believe, October. Okay, so it's the 23rd through the 26th of October. So yeah, before Halloween. So yeah, be watching. I expect all of our German-speaking friends will be checking it out. So Dungeon Master on YouTube. But yeah, anybody reporting from there, let us know what happens. If not Spiel Essen, I mean, there's other events coming on the calendar, but there aren't very many months left. So we'll just be waiting to see what happens. Spiel Essen. Yeah, she's got the cards. Okay, but anyway, there you've got the dates. I guess we could check and see if it mentions Avalon Hill. That would be an idea. Because if Avalon Hill is there, of course, some of this stuff, I mean, it doesn't happen to the last minute. Oh, by the way, they're here. It's like, oh, okay. Hall plans online, exhibitor list. I'm not really seeing. Of course, I'm not really familiar with their website. So, yeah. Well, we can continue to research that, look it up. I mean, Asmodee is going to be there. Magic the Gathering, so Hasbro definitely will have a presence. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something. So we'll keep an eye out. All right, guys. Thanks for checking us out on the RAAAAAANTCAAAST. And we'll see who we can raid at this time of night. So everybody take care. And StrangeBus made it safely to his destination, so we wish him well. So if you want, stick around for the raid. Otherwise, we'll catch you later. Hopefully Friday. RAAAAAANTCAAAST.